All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, as always, I'd like to start off by giving all the praises, honor, and the glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and unto the elders of Great Millstone, GMS who taught me this truth. Honors to the brethren in the Akim that is pushing out this truth with all sincerity and in faith, and to Wadi Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, for allowing me once again to come back with another lesson. And the title of this lesson is simply going to be titled, I had two different titles. One of them was going to be like somewhere around the words of, the fire in the sky, something that's going to relate to, the ongoing conversations and videos I've been seeing throughout the day, literally since I woke up, earlier. I mean, it's about to be 10 o'clock in the evening. But, as soon as I woke up earlier this morning, I just seen all these clips of, UFOs and what they are, and this big talk about, what people think they are, or what they're being categorized as. And really at the end of the day, people are going to say certain stuff, they're reptilians, they're the grays, they're this, they're that. But at the end of the day, they're ultimately the what they call, and look at, you got a lot of people, they're so quick to, just denounce, the angels, because that's just, foolish. That's just so, yeah, that could never be. But aliens is okay, and what they truly are, or what people know, what they will see. Look, people want them to be aliens and somebody or something from outer space and from a different galaxy, and deep down they subconsciously know that, look, at these might be not aliens, but if there is a God, those are the angels, and they most certainly are. And the scriptures, as we're gonna get into, back me up on that, because there's no other thing or other, being that I would give that power to other than the angels of the Most High, the angels of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. But through the Spirit, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start off on the scripture first, just to get the party started, right? This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 26. Verse 26. I'm going to start at 25. And it says, and there shall be sons in the stars, and there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. And that's the thing, is that, see, in these last days, we're going to have that. You're going to have the moon turning into blood and the sun being turned into darkness. And things you see in the heavens that, that's a nice star, and then it's moving, and just no stars ever move in that certain kind of pattern or way. Those are all signs of the times, okay? As well as distress upon nations, which, that's a given. America, all the nations around about, they're distressed, so on and so forth. In verse 26, it says, men's hearts failing them for fear, and looking after those things which are coming on the earth. And that's the thing, when they see such certain things, especially Esau, he's the main one that'll get very intimidated and very, what you would call, afraid, when he sees these quote unquote, what the world calls them, UFOs, which are they're the chariots, all right, as they're known in the scriptures, doing all kind, basically playing around with them. The angels are showing Esau that, look, bro, anytime you're ready, this ain't what you want. I'm letting you know right now that this ain't what you want, son. And Esau's proud ass. He thinks he could take. He thinks he could take on the challenge. And he's gonna be sorely mistaken. And it says, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And it says in verse 27, here's the point, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And that's exactly what's going to happen here soon in these days, is that you're going to see who you call Christ, who you call Jesus. He's going to be coming in the cloud. All right, he's going to make his, his great and notable return, so to speak, okay? And then by way, he's going to be coming in the cloud. And it goes back into that movie, they call Independence Day. When the big chariot, the big UFO comes across and, is hovering over the great city of New York, right? And every eye sees it. Everyone sees it. Everyone's running for their lives, I think there's even a scene in that movie where Esau, some Edomite, he's seen it. He has a hot dog in his hand. That motherfucker just dropped it and ran this lady over, just pushed her out the way and just was gone. And that's how you people going to be running in these last days. That's how you people going to be reacting. You're not going to know how to, function. You're going to be literally running like a chicken with its head cut off, until the Most High, gets you, so to speak, until the Most High, Yahweh Shemel Shai, just zaps you. And that's what's going to be taking place, man. And these things, all right, these things in the sky that everybody's so interested about and want to know what they are. Look at, man, the servants, the prophets, they're here to tell you, they're here to warn you of what they are. All right. And you've been warned. You've been warned on, multiple occasions, and that's exactly what they are. They're the angels. Far more powerful and greater than any, extraterrestrial you could, write in a comic book or bring in a movie. The angels are great. The angels are powerful, and those are the army, members of the Heavenly Father's army, I should say. Okay. Matter of fact, I'm going to grab this real fast. 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 31. And it says, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. And that's what we're going to see, is we're going to see this realm be, or I should say, how would I say this? This realm that we're in is going to be introduced to the realm of where the angels and the Most High Yahweh Shema Shai dwell. Okay, they're going to come from their place and come into this place. And that's just how it's going to go down. That's just how it's going to go down. Okay. Matter of fact, let's go here. Just going on to the chariots. Okay, because you got all these new photos and / videos released, and all of them, if I'm not mistaken, some of them are like water, but most of the time they're in the heavens. They're in the clouds, and that's exactly where the angels dwell. They could be anywhere, man, and they are everywhere. Coming and going as they please. But this is the book of Psalms 104 verse 1. And it says, bless the Lord, O my soul, O Lord, my power. Thou art great, thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty, who covereth thyself with light as with a garment, and stretches the heavens like a curtain, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariots, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. So that there alone is showing you the power of the Most High, of how I mean, how you can't even put that into, you know, to words really. Like, how would you, uh, you know, who walketh upon the wings of the winds? How would you, tell somebody that what that actually means? The Lord, he's that power. He's that dude. Okay, and he has his chariots as well to show you the Lord when he has these angels do what they do. These chariots in the sky, these fires in the sky, do what they do. He's just showing, what he is capable of. He's just giving you a glimpse of his power, just a sneak peek of what is to come. And this isn't even at its, you know, uh, he doesn't even have his, pedal to the metal. Okay, it's just, he's just gradually, working up into that point where he's gonna unleash everything he got, all his wonders. Okay, and that's what's gonna happen. That's what we're gonna see is all the wonders of the Most High Yahweh Shema Shai be released, and one of those wonders just so happens to be these angels, making their presence known, especially and more frequently now more than ever. But this is the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 49, and it says here. It says, I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? You see? So that's what the Lord's going to do. He's going to send fire upon the earth. Okay? And he's going to start setting, tiny little fires here and there, having people go war to war, nation going against nation, kingdom against kingdom, famines and pestilences. Those are all major little fires that eventually it's going to come together into the big bonfire, which is going to be America being utterly and completely annihilated and desolate by way of the fire that's going to come from the chariots, and ultimately the greatest fire of it all, the coming from those missiles. Okay, and these are the things to come. Okay, these are the things to come. This is the book of Psalms 68 and verse 17. It says, the chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them as in Mount Sinai and the holy place. So the angels are innumerable, damn near, and that's the thing, is that the Lord, he's coming with many angels. He's coming with the thousands of heaven, and one angel could really just level this place, and he's coming with a band, and this is just the Most High. It's the final, like in movies, that is the final battle. This is gonna be the ultimate final battle. You got all those movies, war movies. This is the final battle. This is where it all matters. That's where the Most High is going to let all his tricks out of his book, out of his bag. Okay, as well as the angels, they're not going to hold back, and everybody in this time is going to see it. Okay. This is Revelation 1 verse 7, and it says, and behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. All right, everybody's going to see him. All right, your mama, your grandmama, all right, your little snot-nosed kids, okay, your local crackhead down the street, whatever the case may be, every eye is going to see him. And they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so among, because they're going to know that it's their end is near, that their end is nigh. Okay, but through the Spirit, Akim, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I pray this lesson was edifying, exhorting, and comforting. And as always, I want to give all the praises, honor, and the glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Makak B'dash. And it's on to the next one, Akim. Shalom.